The New York City subway is one of the busiest mass transit systems in the world, with 472 stations spread across four of the city's five boroughs and 665 miles of track ventured upon every day by 3 million different riders. The subway has become an integral part of so many people's lives. But if you ask these regular riders what they think of the subway, 90% of the time their immediate response will be negative, and it's not hard to see why. The system is plagued by infrastructure problems which turn into heavy delays for riders. Outdated tunnels and tracks, signaling, and the often passenger problems that arise on the subway all contribute to a generally unfavorable outlook towards the subway system. The NYC subway is terrible, in fact, when compared to systems like that of Hong Kong or the London Underground. But then again, you must look at the systems differently. Hong Kong's system, for example, only has about 142 miles of track and 167 stations, minuscule in comparison with that of New York City's. London's tube system has about 272 stations and 250 miles of track, which is not even half of New York City's track mileage. So when you see the timeliness and efficiency of these systems, you also must consider their respective sizes. And remember that the New York City subway is almost double the size. So with that out of the way, let's start with the reasons of why the New York City subway is actually pretty darn good. Reason number one, the New York City subway system operates around the clock, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When the city never sleeps, the subway system can't either. In many other transit systems around the world, the midnight chime of the bell signals the end of the subway or the metro service for that night, usually until about 3 to 4 a.m. If you're stuck at work or perhaps partied a bit too late, you'll have to shell out more money for a cab. But in New York, despite certain reduced service at night, you can still get reliable service to get you wherever you need to go, saving you money, time, and stress, although you do need to be vigilant of your surroundings at night on the subway, as sometimes things can get a bit weird. Fulfilling that late-night demand of commuters and residents of the Big Apple is a big reason why the New York City subway can be counted as mostly reliable, although I know that some New York City regulars will have something to say about the system's reliability. Number two, somewhat reasonable fares and reasonable timing. Although fares are still going up over time, the MTA currently has the fare set at $2.75. The difference here is that unlike a system like the WMATA Metro of Washington, D.C., there is no zonal faring. Whereas in Washington, D.C., your fare is calculated based off which station you enter through and which station you exit through, in New York City, the $2.75 fare can take you across basically the whole system, provided that the stations that you transfer at are free transfers. Let's compare this to the other methods of transport in the city. Of course, walking is always free, but can cost you time, and you'll probably not want to walk more than 10 blocks at a time, especially during a commute to work. The other option is, of course, the New York City taxi. The iconic yellow cab of the Big Apple starts with a base fare of $3, which is already more than the fare of the subway, and can rapidly increase during the ride, adding 75 cents per every 1/5 of a mile traveled, or every 60 seconds that a taxi is stopped. And that's not even thinking about the traffic of the city, which can see any type of road-bound transportation to come to complete halts at every street corner, delaying your trip by minutes and sometimes even hours. Let's talk about timing now. Of course, there's going to be signaling delays, rush hour delays, and everything else imaginable while riding the subway. But the subway is always going to be a million times quicker than most other forms of transport in the city, especially if you're traveling from borough to borough or during rush hours. Taking cabs or rideshare services like Uber and Lyft can sometimes be convenient, but often you'll just be sitting in traffic for a large percentage of your ride with your price meter that just seems that it just doesn't stop going up. The subway covers almost the entirety of Manhattan, save for a few neighborhoods on the east side, as well as generally good coverage across Brooklyn and Queens. Of course, it's incredibly hard to cover every square inch of the borough, but combining the low fares, 24/7 service, and quite extraordinary coverage, there's a reason why the subway is always the first choice for millions of commuters. Now, my third reason isn't going to appeal nearly as much to regular riders, but I still think it's an important aspect. Number three, the subway's culture is a huge part of the city's culture. It's the one point in the day where people of all wealth levels from all backgrounds are in the same car. Business people on their way to work, students on their way to learn, people going for a day out, or just errands. It's an incredible melting pot of diverse people that really you won't see in any other part of this country, and is often very interesting to see. Another iconic part of the subway are the performers. During most days, you'll see lots of talented musicians singing or playing instruments like the drums, violins, cellos, and pianos. You'll also probably see gravity-defying dance performers and impromptu poem readers, bringing a little levity to the everyday delays and maybe even cheering up the commuters as they wait through the endless delays. The New York City subway is far from perfect. In fact, it's nowhere near perfect. The infrastructure is century-old in many places, and the delays on busy days are endless. But for a city of almost 9 million people, and millions more coming in for work, the subway does a ridiculously good job of getting people where they need to go for a low fare and in a relatively timely manner. The incredible reliability and efficiency of the subway shows you just how grateful we should be for such an incredible system that gets people exactly where they need to go, whenever they need it, for just $2.75. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed and want to see more New York City subway content, be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Comment any video ideas you'd like to see below. And once again, thank you for watching.